So here's the plan. So I wanted to make a series around building your portfolio for jobs that are outside of a developer or a designer's job role or portfolio. So we're starting off with customer service. I did a whole video talking about different impressive portfolios that you can create for for your resume, for your portfolio. So we are starting off with a customer service. I just had it and I forgot it that quick. So we're going to get into a customer service navigation. Hold on, I had it. Workflow, flow, Jesus. So we were going to do a customer service workflow. But then once I started to get into the customer service workflow, I was like, okay, I have a website. Why don't I set up customer support on my website? So this is going to be a twofer. So I used to use Drift to be my chatbot on my website so people can contact me directly through the website without having to go through an email or to pick up their phone and call, because different customers prefer different forms of communication. For example, for myself, email is my everything. I love email. I would do email over phone calls. I would do email before in-person meetings. Like, I love email because I can get to it when I need to get to it. And I can do a little bit of research, and I'm not on the spot when it comes to coming up with solutions and answers to people's problems. So we're going to jump into this. I'm already on the back end of my website, and we're going to install a plugin. We're going to look at different ways that I can add customer service to my website, whether that's through ticketing, whether that's through a chat bot, whether that's coming up with a Google phone number and having people call another Google phone number instead of my phone number. I don't know. We're going to figure this out as we go along. So join me as I do build out my portfolio for customer service. Okay, so we're going to use AI to do a recommendation on what I should do for my website, because I have a really specific type of website. I do multiple things: marketing operations, CRM management, LMS management, CMS management, program management. So I want to ask specifically Gemini, what is your recommendation for someone who provides the services that I provide? What would you recommend for customer support tools? So let's see what it's. Okay, so it recommends a self-service initial contact thing. So I'm really loving this FAQ knowledge base. I really want to build that out. So I'm going to work on that, but I feel like that's a whole nother piece for a whole nother, it's a project for a portfolio in itself. So I don't want to do that for this one. I kind of want to stick with the live chat just so I can do the workflow as my project for the portfolio. So I also like that it has the ticket email support. So with the ticketing system, I am thinking about this because what tends to happen is when I get a client, it could be years down the line, I will get an email from them. I'll get an email, and in that email, I will have to go and see, like, okay, well, what website was it? And do I have a login for it? Was it through GoDaddy? What plugins were you using? What did you try to do? So I do a lot of that and back and forth with the emails. So a ticketing system will be useful for me, but I do want to have that for, excuse me, I want to have that for my existing customers, and I don't want to have that for my website where everybody can access the website. So I'm going to work on that ticketing system. And then for the email support, so like I said before, a lot of my clients, they contact me via email, either text message or email. If it's an emergency, they'll text. If it's not an emergency, they'll email. And then there's a categorization and prioritization where we can categorize different things. I do like the scheduling tool. I currently use Google because it makes my life easier. Google does have scheduling where you can just literally put in an appointment. And then there's the contact forms, and then the FAQ knowledge base, which is something that I want to do in its own video because it is a project of its own. I'm telling you, it's definitely a project of its own. So I did give some recommendations of what plugins I should use for WordPress, but I'm looking at two of them. So I'm looking at the Chatway one and I'm looking at Help Crunch. I do like that it has WhatsApp and then it has FAQs, it has chat buttons, it has all that stuff in Chatway. And then I also like the Help Crunch one because it comes with a knowledge base, but I do want the knowledge base to be its own project. It's something that I do when I'm on WordPress and I'm looking at two different plugins and they pretty much do the same thing. I'm looking at two different areas. I'm looking at the reviews. I'm looking at the active installs first. Like there's 10,000 versus 2,000. And then I am looking at the number of reviews, 6 reviews versus 188. And then the last updated. So I'm going to do the Chatway, and then part 2 of this is going to be me installing. So we're going to go with Chatway. Part 2 is going to be us installing Chatway. We're just going to do the basics of installing it because what I really want to get to is the workflow. We want to plan out the workflow before we just start executing different things. And we want to make sure that we understand the potential customers that come to my site that may have potential issues. How do we want them to navigate through this workflow? That is the creme de la creme of what we're doing. So that way people can use the workflow as their project for their portfolio. So stay tuned for part 2.